Good evening, students. So, in the previous class, we were discussing about one more chapter, which I think that might have concluded the problem of the global problem and the India's role is concerned. So, what were the major problem that the world has to face, and how did India react to it? So, today, let us take up one more chapter in social science. I mean sociology. It is called social movements. So, before that. So let me clarify that July 3rd week we are going to have a final examination of 10th standard. I told you the pattern of examination has changed. So there will be no descriptive answers. So you are not you are not able to write one sentence answer, two sentences answers, 3 marks questions and 4 marks questions. I hope even diagrams in science and also construction in mathematics, maps in social also will be missing. Okay, detailed information will be given to you shortly as KSEEB board, that board which is going to conduct examination, going to give a model question paper shortly, maybe within 3-4 days. So once it is received, we will be posting you so that you may get an idea, and also we'll be having some trial for that. We'll be having some tests, so there going to be a OMR sheet. Okay, and that there will be options. I hope you might have, some of you might have written Murarji or maybe Navodaya entrance examination in which you also have written the answers in OMR sheet. So usually there will be objective types questions, and each objective questions will have a 4 options, and the option which is the right answer for each question supposed to be okay given. Should be shaded. There will be a okay, 3 oval shapes will be there, and that which is the right answer supposed to be shaded with I hope maybe by using blue point pen or maybe black point pen. So detailed information will be given to you, so you won't be having any problem when you go to write examination. One more thing is okay, we have to enter your internal marks depending on your performances in your test and also project work, etc. So your activity, your participation in that online classes. So I hope that at least hereafter, okay, when I went through the previous online classes, only few have attended it. I mean, have watched it, understood it, and many of you not yet did it. So that shows that you are not having any interest. Maybe you are losing interest in the examination, and you have taken examination somewhat okay, lightly. So that is not the right thing. Do watch that okay classes and read the textbooks, and then I may talk with your other teachers also. Shortly we are going to have a chapter wise selecting certain chapters. We will be going to have a test. So depending on all those tests, we are going to award you the marks, internal marks, which is going to be considered while giving you overall grade in the annual examination. So I repeat, pay attention towards the test which is going to take place. One more thing is okay, we have a group. I hope we have adapted, each teachers teaching the 10th standard have adapted you. Okay, each teacher is going to have some 6 or 5 students. So those students will shortly we are planning to have a okay, meet, online meet is. So we'll be informing you when we are going to meet you, all the 6 students, and also we are going to have a general parents meeting. Again, this online, we let you know when it is going to be done. So participate in it. It is already today it is 7. Okay, and then July 3rd week we are going to have a examination before that. So we have to be very careful in spending the time. Okay, otherwise all these preparations, your contributions, your hard work, everything going to be wasted. So pay attention. Let's take up the chapter called social movements. In that social movement, what is a social movement is, you know that human being is a social animal. Okay, right from our old stone age onwards, we have come to know that gradually we thought that living together, living in groups is better when compared to living lonely. So that is what we call social life started. So when we became human being, became okay social animal, started living in groups in societies. Okay, you know that family is the basic unit of the society. So when we are living in this society, society keeps on changing. You know that society keeps on changing, social practices keeps on changing. Certain changes which takes place in society is accepted by human beings, sometimes not accepted by human beings. When we don't accept certain changes in the society, okay, usually we oppose it, okay, opposing. So such kind of opposition is called social movement. Okay, sometimes opposition in the social change sometimes becomes personal when I myself may oppose, but that is not a social movement. But when why I oppose it means, so because it is not okay, okay, it is not suitable to me, I don't accept it. For me it looks difficult, or for me it looks okay, not right, then I oppose it. But when I personally oppose it, it's not a social movement. But when we consider that the changes what the in society has taken place is going to disturb majority of us, most of the social people or people in the society going to be disturbed by the changes, and the people get together and they oppose, such is called social movement. So in that regard, that is the nature of it. They have given in the textbook, it is called social movement is related to a natural resistant social process that is related to social mobility, changes and transitions. A social movement is a planned one, which means every movement has a goal and a plans to achieve it through a program of action. That means social movement is natural one thing, and so social movement as natural as different changes that what takes place in the nature. Okay, you know, nature keeps on changing, so also society keeps on changing, social practices keep on changing. But certain practices are accepted, but certain practices are not accepted. When we don't accept it, we oppose it, we try to change it. Such movement is called social movement. Okay, it brings changes. I told you, sometimes it brings changes, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it brings permanent changes in it. For example, they have given example like bhakti movement or freedom movement, what we have organized before, okay, against the British. Some social movements bring permanent changes in the society. Some social changes or movements won't bring any, just that occurs, the social movement occurs and we forget it. They won't give any changes, they won't remain in our memory. That's what you call the social movements are sometimes bring changes, sometimes won't. For example, we can take an example called tribal movements, and then farmer movements, and also okay, movement against women exploitation, or movement against child exploitation, or maybe any kind of okay, movement which takes place in society opposing okay, the practices which is a hindrance or trouble to the society. Certain things we have seen, and they have given example like that. One more example, what there happens is social changes not only brings changes in the society, but also brings changes in our characters also, in belief also, in our belief, in our thoughts. For example, they have given example called Gandhiji. It is said that in the beginning Gandhiji thought that God is truth. He was thinking that God is truth. But after, when he came across the persons like the people like Ambedkar, and then okay, they have given mentioned like Ambedkar and other people. Finally, Gandhiji has to change his view. It is not God is truth, but truth is God. Like that, our thoughts also may change when we go through the social changes or social movement is concerned. That's also you should keep in mind. It is said that okay, tribal movements, farmers movements, okay, women movement, social movement against women exploitation are some of the examples. How does it happen? They are given example in the paragraph. It is said that in olden days all natural resources are free for men, okay, but gradually when economy developed, okay, the importance for natural resources increased. Gradually governments and private people started okay, controlling the use of these natural resources. So this controlling use of natural resources put the tribal people who used to live in okay, forest or maybe in nature, depending totally on the nature, got disturbed, and they have to oppose the system. Such like this is one example how social movement begins in our society. And that we can give still more examples like Okay, women exploitation, social movement against women exploitation, farmers of okay, movement, or maybe any kind of movement. Even students movement also may be taken as an example for social movement. It another one important thing that we have to keep in mind. I was talking about social movements. Some social movements bring a permanent changes in the society. For example, they give a bhakti movement, social religious reformation. We have talked about that movement which took place in India. Okay, brought a permanent change in our society. Like that, we also took the example of freedom movement is concerned. Certain social movements bring changes permanently. Okay, and their impact remains permanent. But certain social movements they may not bring a permanent impact in our society. So also they have given some examples for social reformers or social leaders of social movement like Buddha, Mahavira, Basava, Sharanas, Dasas, Sufis, Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. There are many such social reformers who also involved in the social movement is concerned. Next, let us go to discuss about okay, very important topic called mob. What is a mob? It is okay. This is also a kind of beginning of social movement, but mob is little different when compared to other social movements. What is a mob? It is said that mob is a collection of people which collects in a place and indulges in a temporary thinking, demands, and the related emotional expression. It seems that means for example, they have given examples like a gathering or group of people in front of a theater, or people who get together when an accident takes place. Such a group of people is called a mob. Okay, so when a mob gets together, there will be no pre-planned, there is no target, there is no plan. Okay, just for a moment they get together, and when they get together they express okay, a timely what you call thoughts. Timely means for that time what they have to say they say. So there are such examples which can be called as mob. Another one example they are given: mob is a collection of people who have assembled at a particular point without any prayer plan. It's prayer means they have no plan when compared to other social movements. So there will be plan. For example, social religious reformation movement, they had a plan, they had a target, they had a goal to achieve. But here in the mob there will be no goal, there will be no plan. Just for time being, to express their emotion or to express their anger or to express their sympathy, they get together. Once okay, after short period everything will be disappears. Okay, that is called mob. Okay, a group of people who have collected in front of a theater to watch, or a group of people who gathered around to know more about the accidents are best example for mobs. So if they in the examination, oncoming examination, such questions may appear. For example, what you call a group of people who have gathered to watch an accident? Do you call it as a mob or a social movement, whatever it is? So you should be able to know that it is a mob. So mob has certain characters, and also it indulges in sometimes, mostly sometimes, in violence. Sometimes mobs, you see, for example, let us try to know that what are the characteristics. Many times unrestrained the behavior of people gathered in mob reflects social shortcomings of the particular society. Often people express their dissatisfaction with many social institutions. People also express their dissatisfaction with many government policies, attitudes, and decisions on specific program. I told you, gathering in to watch an accident, or gathering in front of a theater, or gathering by the people to oppose the policies of the government. So these are what are called mob. So for time being they get together, they oppose, they shout, maybe okay, they also express their disagreement and they disappear. That's what the characteristics of a mob. Sometimes such kind of mobs become violent. So when the mob which got together, people who got together to express their sympathy or emotion or disagreement, if they turn into violent, that is called mob violence. We have seen such things. Mob violence is another example for mob behavior. When the behavior of a mob turns violent, then it is called mob violence. That means people, sometimes you have maybe watched in the TV or maybe read in the newspaper that some people got together. Especially sometimes this mob violence becomes maybe a reason for mob violence, maybe caste, or maybe it may be regarding, I told you, anti-social elements it is called. Maybe it is supported by what you call racial violence, caste violence, communal violence, political violence, or such characteristics. Maybe one political party supporters may oppose another political party supporters. Such violence is called political party violences or political violences. Economic violence may come across, or caste based violence also may come across. Okay, people get together, they okay, maybe they express a disagreement about the social conditions, but only for the time being. There will be no prayer plan, there will be no any aim, just get together, and sometimes they become violent, they beat each other. Sometimes even it ends in deaths of many people. They attack okay shops, even shop lifting also takes place. Such activities are called mob violence activities. Nowadays another one danger about mob violence, once upon a time mob violence is only concentrated or found in cities and towns, but nowadays even in the village level also the mob okay violence have been noted and also been reported. So this is a very shocking because mob violence is spreading all over. What to be done then? So this kind of mob violences which has no aim, which was no plan, or it is not also not necessary. Such things, if it is spreads all over India, all over our society, it is going to disturb all our social life, economic life, political life, religious life, and also social life. Okay, important among all these is called social life. It is going to disturb. Okay, a caste based violence usually bring some kind of okay division in the society. One caste people will hate another one. Okay, that is what you call ethnic violence is also we call it as a caste violence is concerned. Okay, so it is called okay, we just now discussed about what was the reason for it. Mob violence does not last for longer duration. They come to an end at one point of time. Mob violence is controllable through effective use of police, military, and other agencies of the government. Okay, mob violence takes place suddenly. People get together, keeping in mind of some reason, maybe caste, maybe political, maybe okay, race, community, or some reason they get together, and sometimes they become violent. Okay, resulting in what you call casualties like death and etc. Okay, so that takes place, but it won't last long. Within a short period everything disappears. Okay, but if you let it go like this, so this mob violence occurs again and again, disturb the peace of the society. So what to be done, how to control these mob violences? So best example is a proper use of rules and regulations, or proper use of okay protective departments like police, military, or maybe many other agencies can be used in the government. Okay, to protect or to avoid such mob violences which is going to disturb the peace of our society. So that is about what is a mob, okay, and what are the characteristics of a mob, what will be the reason for mob violences, and what is called mob violences, how can we avoid mob violences which is going to disturb the peace of the society. Next we will be discussing about another social movement. Mob is also social movement, but it is of a different character. But we will be discussing about still more serious social movements called okay environmental movements, and then we will be having a women movement, okay sorry, women's movement, then alcohol prohibition movement, and then we will be having labor movements, and then untouchability prevention movement. These are very important movements when compared to mob violence is concerned. Okay, environmental movement, women movement, then we talked about untouchability movement, and also we talked about one more movement called labor movement. These are very important movements which took place for the purpose of okay bringing some changes in the society which is useful for majority of the social people is concerned. That's let us take up these topics in the later period. Hope that you might have understood today's class. If you have any doubt you may comment. Till now I have got no comments or no inquiries or queries that has come from you. thinking that you might have understood it, but don't forget to read the textbook. Read the textbook. Maybe possible that I might have left some point. If it is so, you may remind me about